Welcome to African Today, the voice of a changing continent. We bring you the stories shaping Africa's present and future, from breaking news and bold analysis to culture, innovation, and voices on the ground. We're here to inform, inspire, and amplify the heartbeat of Africa every single day. Thank you for stopping by the channel. We hope you enjoy our video. Let's begin. Welcome back to the channel. Please take a moment to subscribe. Thank you. In a world grappling with disunity, neocolonialism, and the lingering effects of imperialism, few leaders have emerged with the magnetic force and revolutionary vision of Captain Ibrahim Traore. The transitional president of Burkina Faso, who took power in September 2022, has become more than just a national figure. He is fast becoming a pan-African icon. With fiery speeches, bold policies, and a clear anti-imperialist stance, Traore is bridging the long-standing gap between Africans on the continent and the African diaspora in a way few leaders have managed since the days of Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, and Patrice Lumumba. A new kind of African leader. At just 34 years old, Traore is the world's youngest head of state, but his youth has not translated into inexperience. Rather, it has fueled a fresh wave of enthusiasm across Africa. Traore rose to prominence amid political instability and jihadist violence in Burkina Faso, and while his ascension came through a military coup, many have viewed it as a necessary recalibration of the country's direction. What sets Traore apart is not just his courage to challenge the status quo, but his unapologetic embrace of African dignity, sovereignty, and unity. In his speeches and actions, he repeatedly emphasizes the need for Africa to liberate itself from Western dependency, be it economic, military, or ideological. For many in the diaspora who have long watched African nations through the lens of despair and frustration, Traore represents a new dawn. Pan-Africanism revived. Pan-Africanism, the ideology that all people of African descent share a common history, destiny, and struggle, has been historically championed by great leaders and thinkers. But in recent decades, the movement seemed to have lost its footing amid global capitalism, corrupt governance, and inter-African conflicts. Traore is among a new wave of leaders reigniting that flame. Under Traore, Burkina Faso has cut military and diplomatic ties with France, expelled French troops, and shifted toward cooperation with other African nations, including Mali and Niger. This reorientation signals not just a rejection of foreign domination, but a return to African solutions for African problems. His vision echoes that of Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's legendary revolutionary leader, whose legacy Traore openly honors. His efforts have sparked new conversations among the diaspora about reconnecting with the continent, not just culturally, but economically and politically. Social media platforms have become fertile ground for these dialogues, where clips of Traore's speeches go viral and hashtags like #PanAfricanismRising, Traore 2025, and #AfricaUnites trend globally. Bridging the diaspora divide. For centuries, the African diaspora, descendants of enslaved Africans across the Americas, Europe, and the Caribbean, have been separated from the continent not only by oceans, but by systems of alienation, colonization, and miseducation. While there have always been movements to reconnect, including Marcus Garvey's Back to Africa campaign and the Black Power movement, these efforts often lacked sustained state-level partnerships from African governments. Ibrahim Traore is changing that. His administration has signaled openness to diasporic collaboration in economic development, education, cultural exchange, and even defense strategies. Diaspora Africans are increasingly being invited to invest in Burkina Faso's future, not as foreigners, but as long-lost relatives returning home. Traore's emphasis on One Africa speaks directly to diaspora communities hungry for belonging, identity, and purpose. Media, messaging, and the power of perception. A key part of Traore's unifying success lies in how he communicates. He speaks plainly, directly, and often passionately about issues most African leaders avoid: neocolonial exploitation, Western double standards, and the need for African self-reliance. His image, military fatigues, a determined gaze, and a refusal to pander to foreign powers, has captivated both young Africans and diasporic youth seeking authenticity in their leaders. Traore's presence has inspired content creators, activists, and thinkers across YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram to dissect and amplify his message. Documentaries, podcasts, and public forums from Atlanta to London, Accra to Johannesburg are now discussing how Africans and the diaspora can build real alliances for mutual empowerment. Challenges ahead. Of course, uniting such a diverse and dispersed population as the global African community is no easy feat. Traore faces internal challenges in Burkina Faso, ongoing security threats, economic instability, and political pressures. Moreover, his military background and the context of his rise to power remain controversial in some circles. There are also risks in hero worship. Traore himself has warned against relying too heavily on individual saviors, urging instead for collective organization and action. His ability to maintain democratic principles, transparency, and accountability in the coming years will be a true test of his long-term impact. The bigger picture. What makes Ibrahim Traore's influence so transformative is not just his policies, but the psychological shift he represents. He is helping Africans and the diaspora see themselves not as fragmented peoples bound by borders and histories of trauma, but as members of a global family with a shared mission. In doing so, he revives the possibility of a united Africa, not just in name, but in purpose. In an age of global uncertainty, where many are questioning old systems and searching for new paths, Ibrahim Traore is offering something rare, a vision rooted in pride, courage, and collective destiny. Whether he ultimately succeeds or not, his leadership is already changing the conversation, and that, in itself, is a powerful beginning. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe to help grow the channel. Until next time, see you soon.